Hey everyone, in today's video we are gonna go over some flickering with an assassin using an auto sacrifice. And I am doing this because I haven't played a shadow since last year, and also because Auro's flicker is something that I keep wanting to do ever since that Inquisitor flicker from Delirium. With the return of Harvest, I figured that this build could use some funky gear, so I got to doing just that. And believe me that we are using a lot of funky gear on this, which is going to require a lot of trading, harvesting and hell even discording. But you all know the drill, the idea is going fast, and Flicker goes fast, so much so that it is both a blessing and a curse. We clear maps in a couple of minutes, but it's also a bit heavy on the eyesight, so it's not gonna be for everyone, especially if you are prone to seizures or other eyesight related afflictions. And if you fit that description, I will advise not doing this for your personal health, you know? Anyways, I've also got a couple of serious fights and conqueror gameplay to accompany this build, alongside some random tidbits of stuff here and there. No Maven fight today though, bummer. But at the same time I also want to talk about PoE because I want to take a little break from it, but we'll go over that after we are done talking about the gear and tree. As always, if you enjoyed tonight's video, be sure to subscribe to the channel, otherwise a rating and a comment are always appreciated. So fasten those seatbelts because it is time for speed. Goes without saying, but do expect to heavily invest into harvest crafting because some of the gear we use is really not a common occurrence. And remember to cram as much chaos resistance as possible into any slot that can fit it. So the first thing is an auto sacrifice with a fortify support corrupted implicit. Your best bet is gonna be corrupting the sword yourself because people tend to ask relatively dumb prices for theirs. The body armor is an explodey chest, with attacks have extra crit chance and enemies killed explode, alongside life and resistances. We also craft elemental ailment avoidance on it. The gloves have chance to intimidate enemies on hit and a frenzy. So it's another WoW Corp experiment, alongside more life and resist. We also need another elemental ailment avoidance crafted on it. However, a cheaper alternative to those could be something like these guys over here. Life, fire damage against burning enemies, and a frenzy charge corrupted implicit, though cheap might still be a bit of a stretch. I used these guys for a while before swapping to the woke slammed ones. Moving on, the belt has life, elemental damage with attack skills, fire damage against burning enemies and triple resistance. We also socket a jewel with life, crit multi and accuracy. On the boots, life, resistances, movement speed and tailwind on critical strike, though if you can get elemental penetration as the enchantment, that will be great. The helmet is the crown of the inward eye with a flicker damage per frenzy enchantment, though other things like flicker damage, attack speed with an ancestral protector, way of conviction exposure, etc. are good enough. The amulet has life, crit multi, and elemental damage with attacks, alongside resistances. We also anoint primeval force. We also craft mana cost of skills on it. One ring has flame ability on hit alongside life, resistances, crit multi, fire damage to attacks, and mana cost of skills crafted on it. And the other ring has onslaught on hit as the implicit alongside life, resistances, aspect of the spider, and more mana cost crafted on it. The aspect can go anywhere, you have an open suffix, but I crafted mine on the ring. For flasks, a wise oak, a diamond, and either a sulfur or a bottle fade if you got it. Now, before we move on, yes, some of this gear is kinda nuts, but then again that's Harvest's return for you. And especially since we are playing auto sacrifice Flicker Strike as an assassin and we are building around crits, we kinda need a strong gear to make it work. So yeah, let us talk about the tree now. This is a level 95 assassin. We side with Alera for resistances and crit multi while also taking Solaris and Shakari as gods for the Pantheon. The ascendancy itself involves power charges, more crit chance and crit multi, elusive on crit and single target damage stuff. Pretty simple. As for the tree itself, our goal involves grabbing all frenzy charges in the tree. The one in the shadow area, the one in the ranger, and the one in the duelist area. We are gonna take any life, crit chance, crit multi, accuracy or jewel socket along the way to those frenzy charges. However, we are gonna move past these areas grabbing fortify, fire penetration, more life and crit, and a bit of life and a jewel socket on the marauder area. We travel a lot on this build. Anyways, we want a large cluster jewel that has Fuel the Fight, Martial Prowess and Calamitous, while also having 8 passives at most, or else we overspend points. Having said all of this, we only spend 5 points in the large cluster jewel. Calamitous is not taken. One medium cluster has Cooked Alive and Smoking Remains while having 5 passives at maximum. The other cluster is a megalomaniac with elegant form as a mandatory notable. With that notable, the thick skin wheel and the crafts on our body and gloves, we are elemental ailment immune. So any notes alongside that one are fine as long as they give you damage or life, but elegant form is definitely not going anywhere in that megalomaniac. Anyways, my other notable in that jewel is cooked alive, but finding something similar or, you know, a one-to-one copy is going to prove close to impossible, hence why you can use anything else. Coming back to the skill tree, you probably noticed from the gameplay that we've got a Lethal Pride with Warriors under Akoya, and thanks to Chainbreaker I am generating Rage passively. This Rage is only used to trigger Berserk during single target. Also make sure that this Lethal Pride gives you life regen under a notable inside its range, that way we can use Blood Rage without melting to the degen. One of the jewels is a Watcher's Eye with fire damage by anger and attack speed by precision, though crit multi with either anger or precision, fire penetration with anger, or attack damage with precision are also good. The rest of the jewels have increased life, intelligence, and either chance to ignite, damage increases, or crit multi as additional modifiers. But yeah, that is it for the skill tree. Getting to 95 shouldn't be too hard thanks to how fast we clear maps. The tree is a bit of a mangled mess, but it makes sense, I think. Having said that, we do not invest points into dodge stuff because we cannot afford to lose the little fist damage reduction that we've got. This is because auto sacrifice makes us take increased physical damage and fire damage, though the Ascendancy's free elusive on crit kinda makes up for it. But again, dodging manually is going to be your best bet. With that said, let us grab with gem setups. In the weapon, Flicker Strike linked to Combustion, Close Combat, Woke Elemental Damage, Divergent Multi-Strike and Divergent Ruthless. We swap Ruthless for melee splash during clear and swap back to Ruthless for single target, though this is mostly for actual bosses. Most map bosses die equally as fast with melee splash left in place. Combustion is also mandatory in the setup. I tried flicking without it, and while mapping is fine, actual bosses are terrible because we aren't generating enough frenzies. Even while having plenty of ignite chance outside Combustion, it simply isn't enough. This little setup does get mana hungry, but with the crafts on the jewelry and some mana leech we can sustain this spastic build going. Anyways, in the boots, Anger, Stone Golem and Precision linked to Enlighten, optimally Enlighten 4. In the body armor, Ancestral Warchief and Phantasmal Ancestral Protector linked to multiple totems and blind. In the helmet, Flame Dash linked to Second Wind and a Wave of Conviction as well. And in the gloves, Blood Rage, Berserk and a Portal Gem. Anyways, let's conclude another chapter in Flicker Striking. And as I said previously, Flicker is both a blessing and a curse. Mapping is fast, but it's also quite erratic, so much so that it will throw you into precarious situations and that will more often than not get you killed. This is why I have no Maven fight in the video. You flick into a Degen Beam, Ground or Ball and you are done. So because of that, the overload on Sirius and Conqueror gameplay is justified, I think. All in all, a bit questionable considering that a Terminus Est makes more sense for an Assassin Flicker Strike build, but this one worked out just fine in the end. But now I wanna ramble a bit about Path of Exile. I have experienced what I will only consider as the worst performing season in recent times in the form of 3.13. It runs like absolute trash on DirectX 11. It crashes sporadically on Vulkan. Sometimes when it crashes while on Vulkan, it fucks with my PC and I have to kill the game through Task Manager, sometimes even reboot. The servers have been a laggy or buggy mess as well. As an example, yesterday in the California servers, they crapped out for a bit. It kicked me out of the map I was in, forcing me to relog. Upon coming back, the game had killed my character during the relog. Fine, I guess. Though it let me rejoin the instance, only for it to disconnect me again upon re-entering the map. Once I had relogged, the game had killed my character again while nothing was on screen during that disconnect. Shit of that caliber makes it really hard for me to log into this game with a straight face. It is infuriating at times that league after league the game's server performance deteriorates, and not only does it take a while to get fixed, it is also not even acknowledged. And it is thanks to this shit that I've genuinely grown to despise whenever something out of my control happens in-game. Whenever some random mob one-taps you, or you get off-screen, or the game crashes, or you are constantly lagging because the instance is crapping itself out. I swear I am on tilt half the time I play this. So I'm gonna take a little break from pushing for build ideas and whatnot. Precisely today, Outriders, a new looter shooter, has a free demo before its official release on April, and I am gonna spend my weekend playing that. I may even make a video about it. After that, we may dip into challenge completion before we do anything else in Path of Exile. So yeah, Maybe not so justifiable in the end, but I really need to stop playing this every single day because it genuinely gets aggravating when stuff that is outside your control is screwing with your experience. But yeah, that's it for me today. I leave you with another serious fight as the closing gameplay. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you got to this point, don't forget to subscribe. Take care, have a nice weekend, and peace out.
Are meaningless! Pointless! Embrace nothingness.
The edge of death, my heart races. I am alive.
Everlasting fire!
You belong for
Non-existence! I have seen beyond everlasting fire!
meaning